Um, First of all, I want to tell you that there is no such thing as dealing with difficult people. I just did that to get you all here, and it worked. Okay, yeah, that's right. So it was a trick. It was a trick. What it is that we have limited resources in terms of dealing with conflicts with people. Do you know what I'm saying? That we have to take responsibility for what's going on and make the difference. Because the fact is, when you change, they change. So we're going to go through. In fact, we're going to do a little role playing. Is someone in the group kind of a ham? I need somebody that will do role playing in just a minute. And, oh wait, I think I did the wrong one. There we go. A lot of you have heard this saying. You say you understand what you think I said. What you don't understand is that what you heard is not what I meant. Is this not the basis of all conflict at some point or another? Okay, so I want to bring in one thing before we go into, I'm going to give you a bunch of strategies, 1, 2, 3, 4, that you can do that make a difference. And I'm going to tell you, they do make a difference, because I was going to have a lawyer sue me, and a couple weeks later, he was referring clients to me. Does that tell you about how you can turn things around? So, the first thing is, how many of you have heard of NLP or Tony Robbins? Okay. He made NLP popular, neuro-linguistic programming. And the bottom line is that people are auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. The only way you're going to deal with difficult people and turn them into raving fans or people who love you, and that helps because then they follow you, is simply that you have to connect with them. If you remember nothing, absolutely nothing else from this, remember this. You will change nothing until you connect with it. Until I connect with this mic, I have no control over it. Now that I've connected with it, I can throw it, I can speak with it. But when I am detached, when you have no connection to your people, you have absolutely no power. And what I'd like to do is just a quick demonstration. Let me think. Who is really, yeah, you come up. Yeah, I can tell you're begging. I can tell she's begging. Now watch this. And this, I could actually talk a whole day on. Put your arm up, the right arm. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to push. Now this is kind of what happens when we're dealing with difficult people, right? We expend a lot of energy, everybody's pushing, and when you push, you get shoved, and we get absolutely nowhere. This isn't really creative, is it? No, that's okay, you're good. I baled hay in Wisconsin, I am tough. Okay, now watch this. Watch how I can turn almost miraculously what is happening here. Push again. Okay, and just keep pushing. That's very good. Okay. Keep pushing. Now this poor chick doesn't know what she's doing or why she's doing it. But look at it. You want to talk about leadership. She followed me. She has no idea why she's turning around like a tutu girl. But she is. I didn't tell her to. Did you see what happened? It was the power of suggestion. I simply did it once, and she followed. And this is the power you have with people if you just learn to use it. Now, the point is, in one split second on the subconscious level, she made a decision to follow me. What happened? When I pushed, she shoved. Insist leads to resist. Resist. Is that right? Okay. When I went her way, I said push. When I went with her, we were in alignment, we were in sync, we made a connection. And once you have that bond, once you have that connection, people will follow you anywhere. And I just proved it, and it happens every time. And I'm not kidding. I was seeing a client, and the lawyer, it was his wife, and she was getting a divorce, and it's kind of complicated. But the bottom line is he was going to sue me. And I handled it with the techniques that I'm going to show you. And literally within weeks, he went from suing me to sending me clients. Would you give her a hand? And thank you. So what it is, we need to make the connection. The other thing is, and for the most part, people are auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. Be aware that they give themselves away with their predicates. I'm very auditory. So I will say, oh, that's a symphony to my ears. I hear what you're saying. But visual people say, do I have to draw you a picture? Oh, now I get the picture. And kinesthetic people will say, oh, I wouldn't hit that with a 10-foot pole. And so they give themselves away if they're touchy-feely or they're the ones that hug and you're kind of like. So once you know who they are, you mirror and match them. You speak their language, and it's like saying, I am one of you. I am one of you. I can speak here, and I was so rushed at the 8:30 session, I didn't get to get in a lot of the things I wanted to. But I've been to China, I've lived in Japan, so I've had a taste of Asia, I have loved it. And if I say that, we already feel more connected. If you have 2 kids and I have 2 kids, we love each other. Oh, we have so much in common. So what it is that you always look for that way that you can make that connection. Once you have it, you mirror and match. So if somebody's sitting very stiff and like this, you probably don't want to get too casual, right? And if they're very casual, you're going to do things to loosen up. Men might take off their sports coat. The bottom line is you've got to say, by what your actions prove, I am one of you. And that's when they will follow you anywhere. I'm going to tell you one other thing. We also talk about pacing and leading. When you want people to change, you kind of disarm them with a few comments like, that's my favorite color. I really like that. Then you can tell them, you're fired. I am kidding, okay? But what you do is you kind of cushion it with a couple of, because you're getting in alignment. You're getting them to trust you, and you're not going to betray it. Or you can say things like, because I care so much about, your progress here at work, and I want you to stay a part of this team, I got to be pretty honest with you. But I'm cushioning it to say, because I care about you, I got to tell you, this is what's got to change. So mirroring and pacing. You make a few statements where, mirroring and leading. You make a few statements where you're connecting, and then the leading statements get in to the issue at hand. And you keep balancing it back and forth so that so you stay connected. Okay, now I'm going to get into some of the strategies. And this is like getting into your high school blue jeans. It's like a full day seminar we got to get in 20 minutes. You can't get it all in. And so what I need to do, this is what I just talked about. You know what? I'm going to do, and I did the arm push. I want to talk just a minute on triggers and anchors. I have a psychotherapy background. I do brain training and hypnosis. I'm very big on the subconscious mind because I will tell you, 1/2 of a millionth of 1% is processed on the subconscious level. If you want the behavior and the performance of your people to change, you got to go down deep. And actually, it all started in Russia, by the way. Did you know that? Yeah. What was that book, The Iron Curtain or something? Yep, I remember it. I have it. Okay, but one of the things that is so important, all of you have heard of Pavlov's dog. That's really NLP repackaged. You have no idea how effective this is. What you do is you match up a physical activity with a behavioral change. So if you say, what I might do is take 3 deep breaths and be completely relaxed. Or every time I sip my tea, I can make the suggestion that I'm taking in liquid confidence to be more assertive. So what you have to do is, the mind doesn't get the abstractness of just abstract thoughts and words. When you connect it with a physical activity, that's when you get behavioral change. Does that make sense? I remember when my son was really young, he'd say, I have a headache, and he wanted aspirin. We don't take aspirin in this house. Everything is holistic health, right? And I would say, you ride your bike around the block 3 times, your headache will go away. Guess what happened? It went away. So what you want to do with your people when it's difficult is you suggest, something that's physical, whether it's something they're eating, drinking, walking through that door, that you will feel a change of heart. I think you'll be more understanding and accepting of some of the changes we're making. Let's say they're resisting change. I think when you leave today, as you drive down the road, as you walk through those doors, you're going to start seeing things differently. You're going to start accepting the change. But you have to link it to. And then the other thing I do a lot is, you do things like have a delete button in the middle of your forehead. So if somebody at work is always difficult and negative, you can sometimes give them suggestions that, I want you to be happy. You're not happy being negative either. And so if you just hit the delete button, you give them some of these little triggers that will create a change. So that's important. Now, I need somebody to come up that likes to ham out a little bit. Who do we have? You know what? I'm going to just say 10 minutes? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't talk any faster because they told me to slow it down in Singapore. Okay. Oh, yeah. I can't do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I get 13. See? Anything is negotiable. And he loves me. See, now I got everything going. Don't frustrate, communicate. What are your hot buttons? What are their hot buttons? When you're dealing with difficult people, it's probably because you're pressing some of their hot buttons and they're pressing yours, and it just goes downhill. So you've got to be really astutely aware of but if they have good hot buttons, it goes both ways. So just know what to press. Okay, here we go. I need somebody to do role playing. And the clock is, okay, good. Okay. How to be heard. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold just for a minute. Yeah, you're good. Good sensitivity, blocking the screen, he moves, look at that. Okay, broken record. If you say things repeatedly in a calm way, simple, short statements, childlike, the mind gets it, the subconscious mind does it. It's almost like hypnotizing them. They will change. Fogging is where you deflect the negative. Let's say he's screaming at me and I say, I love your lanyard, I love purple, can I have it? That is what I mean by just deflecting. You change the energy flow to something positive. Content to process shift. How many times are we're arguing about an issue, and no matter what you say, I'm going to disagree. The issue is not the content. It's the process. Be wise enough to know that and say, you know what? I must remind you of a sister you don't like, because no matter what I say, you shall. So now I'm talking about the process. What's going on between us? Put your cards on the table. You're not going to get anywhere with content until you first do this. And then request more information. Diffusing, let them cool down. Assertive inquiry. Why is assertive inquiry so important? Because when you're asking questions, it interrupts the negativity and emotion. They have to go to their rational brain when you ask questions and you inquire. So you stop the negativity. Very, very important. And the summarization of so what you are saying is a good way that they know that you're hearing them. Because people are like little kids. You know when kids play and then you direct your attention to the phone or something, then they're pulling on your apron strings. They have to be heard. If people do not feel heard, they escalate their anger. That's going to be automatic. And then the bottom line is you got to specify what you want, because sometimes people just unload and you've got to direct them into a positive channel. They don't know how to do that, or they would be doing it. Okay, now we're going to go into the role play. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to be really angry. Let's say, I'm going to just take something simple. Let's say I'm always coming late for work, okay? I'm a right-brainer, time. I leave at the time I'm supposed to be there and I wonder why I'm late. How many else can I, okay. So what I want you to do is really get angry and scream at me.
Why can't you just come to work at 9 o'clock? Why can't you be in the 30 minutes before work? Why are you shaking your head like like I don't know who?
Because it will take the wind out of your sail. People just can't stay angry that long. If you're kind of like in agreement with them, There's nothing to argue. There's no objective. And so they just kind of calm down. And so that's one of the first things you got to do. Attend. And this was following. It's kind of like saying we're in agreement. So what is he going to fight with? There's nothing, but if you start getting defensive, they're going to escalate, number one. So that's why I did the nodding. He picked up on it, affirming nodding. And then I might say something that acknowledges, okay, you seem very angry. Now listen, if you say to someone when they're all upset, you seem very angry, and you say it in this calm, meditative, cool state, what's going to happen? They're not going to feel heard. So when I was talking about mirroring and matching, this is very important. You match their energy, but not the negativity. Please remember that. So if you say, now, come on, just cool down. It's another day. It ain't going to work. So you have to just kind of raise the energy. That's where you get the connection. Once you get the connection, you can then bring them down. And as you talk slower, here's where the mirroring and matching works. As you talk slower, they talk slower. When you talk slower, you slow down your brainwave activity. When you go to a slower brainwave activity, that's the state you're in a hot tub massage. You go from negative to positive. So just by slowing down your speech, if you're connected, they will slow theirs down. They slow down their breathing. They slow down their brainwave activity. They automatically go from negative to positive. How do you like that? Isn't this cool? Okay, and I got 5 minutes. Okay, is that including the couple he gave me some extra? Oh, okay, we're fighting this. Okay, the other is to ask questions. When you ask questions, it interrupts emotion. They have to go to the left brain, the logical brain. You don't want them to stay with emotions because it's very negative. Asking questions is crucial. And then use I language. I mean, if I'm sitting there, you're late, whatever, you're going to put people on the defensive. Just this gesture is an accusation. So you're automatically asking for trouble. Now watch this. Join them. We language. Okay, do it again. Just start yelling at me.
I am paying you not for you, just where are you?
Look at what's happening. He can't even stay angry with me. Okay, you know what I mean? You know why? It's where you join them with your behavior. This is a friendship thing. We love each other. How can he be angry with me? So if you stay in this position and you are polarized, you are feeding the polarization and you're feeding the opposition. So if you go here, it's really hard, isn't it? Yeah, we just want to love each other. We don't want to scream at each other. So be aware of where you are physically. Sometimes if you exaggerate, and if you say, oh gosh, I'm such a loser, I've always had a problem with this. Sometimes that works because then they'll change and say, no, I really love you. I mean, you're okay. It isn't that bad, whatever. So if you go the opposite extreme, there's a tendency for balance, okay? The next one is the broken record. If you just say over and over again, I really feel I deserve a raise. I feel I deserve a raise. You don't get off it. You are hypnotizing them, and all of a sudden your paycheck goes up. Okay? It's true. It's true. And you got to say it in this very repetitive, mundane way. Honest to God, this stuff works. Okay, diffusion. One is if you stand up. If you change the dynamics, it interrupts again. People are wondering what's going on. You want to interrupt the negativity. So that's what I'm giving you is a lot of strategies. Touch is a touchy thing. Now, I was touching him, but I kind of read people well. There are some people you touch them, and they'll put a fist in your face. So you got, and it all depends on their early childhood experiences with touch. And you don't know what they all are. Okay, the other is that you might say, could you repeat that? Have you noticed? If you're really fuming mad and somebody says, could you repeat that? They can't stay that, do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It works. So that is another one. The other is, this is really funny. If you start taking notes, they slow down automatically to match your note taking. Because here is the essence of everything I'm saying. Mirror, match, know what modality they are. And here's the crucial thing. Slow it down. Slow it down. And then, Okay, you know, and if everybody's screaming at each other and you whisper, the change in dynamics is like, what did you say? And once they say, what did you say? What happens? You are getting their permission. And now you can talk and they will listen for the first time because it's a power struggle. And what you are doing is you are giving them the power to give it back to you and they feel they're in control. So for the first time, they will listen. Now, that's permission reframing. Okay, here, I'm going to do something with reframing. I'm going to take a little situation where, why don't you just say, you know, it's my parents. Let's say you're just a kid in counseling or something. Okay. And you're saying, okay, it's my parents. They want to know where I am, what I'm doing. Just start grunting and groaning about it.
Oh, my parents are so boring actually. They are too old, to controlling me as well as I really can't making mad of them, but they are my parents.
Just ignore that stop sign,
sure,
okay?
sure.
Yeah.
Edie,
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, listen to this. Listen. He's saying it's my parents. They want to know where I am, what I'm doing. Look what I do. I say, you know what? It's got to be tough to have parents who love you so much. Reframing is probably the most important thing you can do. You take their perception of reality. My parents are on me, they're controlling, and I twist in. I kind of slip the sugar in their coffee and say, it's got to be tough. We're in alignment. Hey, honey, I understand you. It's got to be tough to have parents that love you so much. You slip in a new perception of reality, and I'm telling you, that is the most important thing you can do. And then the last is, and I think it might be, so I'm doing pretty, oh, wow. Okay, we'll forget about that. The last is role reversal. You got to walk a mile in my shoes. You got to see with their eyes, hear with their heart, or feel with their heart, hear with their ears. And when you walk in their shoes, you create empathy and understanding and compassion. It invites them then to see things your way. And sometimes you can just ask the question, if you were me, you know, this is tough. I know we've been arguing about this a lot at work. I want you to be me. You be the boss this time. And I'll be you. And you can actually role play it out. And they will see the challenges you have and why you're making the decisions you are, because you got them to walk a mile in your shoes. And they will only do it when you first take the initiative and see it their way. Does that make sense? And you know what? Well, we'll just continue next year because he loves me and I want him to continue loving me. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm just an email away. And if you don't have this card, this has the most accurate information. Make sure you get it. And if you want other brochures, honey, I got them. Love you all. Take care.